What's going on, guys? It is Laser here with another weekend video analysis. It's a late night video. It's 9 o'clock at night. I'm going to try and make this a quick video. I haven't been feeling great. If you've been following along on my tweets, I've been sick. I've been even sick today. And normally I get these videos out in the morning when I have a lot of high energy. But lately I've just been so low energy. And the timing of how I gotten sick was just absolutely crazy. I got this like COVID-like flu variant, and it's kicking my ass. Every morning I'm waking up with aches, even today, and I don't feel normal unless I pop an Advil. Having said that, if you're new here, we do one of these videos once per week, and we try and share where we think NIO is going to go into for next week, which is what we're going to try and do. And also, I'm just a guy who loves the stock. I've been charting it for a very, very long time. I'm very, I love charting NIO, and I love talking about it. But having said that, there's been times I've been right, and there's also been times where I've been wrong. So just please, guys, do your own due diligence. Please do your own financial research if you're making a big financial decision. I could be wrong here, guys, but I'm gonna try and do my best to be right. And I want to begin my analysis by almost talking, and this is what we always do. We talk about the Hang Seng Index, we talk about BABA, and then we talk about NIO, then we talk about the Dixie. And I want to start off by saying that there's a long setup that's forming here on NIO, and we're going to talk about that. But I also want to say that NIO is in a delicate spot because the Hang Seng is in a delicate spot. The Hang Seng is in a delicate spot because, and I've talked about this in my previous videos, but for those of you that are new here, or for those of you that forget, I talked about when things are going to get kind of spooky on that Hang Seng Index. And it was when we broke through that second trend line. So this was our first trend line. This was our second, and you can kind of see cracks that happened in the second one. Now it's not over, because what I'm looking at right now is it kind of looks like it's forming a double bottom, and it might just want to go like this. Like, the W, people say that it's got like that W pattern. It kind of looks like it's doing that, which is why I say delicate, because it could be setting up for like this swift reversal into a swift squeeze, like giant squeeze. And we've bottomed out here, and it's ready to go. That's me being very hopeful, but I'm letting you guys know that when I see a setup like this where it's 1 and 2, it's difficult to remain super bullish because the bears are now starting to take control. And in order for bulls to take back control, they need to get back above the second trend line. And it's not going to be an easy task because if you look from a percentage wise, you're going to need some big oomph. Basically reverse those losses. You're going to want to see at least a 3.3%. Like, basically, let's just say we want to reverse that. Completely reverse those losses. And we've seen it. So that's one thing that we want to see. Reverse those losses. And if it can do that, you got to squeeze on board. If it can't do that for the Hang Seng Index, then all Chinese equities topped. And you're going to get something like this. If it doesn't reclaim, you could see that. And it wouldn't be like a singular red candle. It would be like a broken down, it'd bounce along the way. It would do something like that. And I think it's a possibility. So I say it's delicate. I think early or in the early weeks, like coming Monday, coming Tuesday, it'll be important not only to be green. Being green is not enough. It needs to be big time green, 3% green. We can't afford to only come up like 2.5% green, because that would just confirm that the bears are in control here. That would essentially just be like a dead cat bounce, another lower high, and that would give you all the reason to just see something like that. Right? You would get you can just do simple Fibonacci. You'd be like, okay, it comes up, it's coming down. So it's delicate, and I'm not here to. And I talked about this in all of my previous week's videos. I've been saying like, oh, and even this, I tweeted about this. Oh, it broke under, and it instantly broke back above. So here we go. Now we go back to NIO, and then we're gonna look at BABA. So it's not all gloom, because I see the light. I always see the light. If you watch my videos enough, you know I'm always looking at trying to look at everything glass half full. So I do see the light here, because here's the good news when it comes to NIO. Because NIO is now kind of, I drew that wrong. Because NIO is now in a uptrend. There's your one. Okay. And what I mean by one is, even if you get like that breakdown, which could happen to try and fake people out, right? You could get something like that. This would be your two. That would be your two. And it's kind of not even like super steep. You might have an argument for, let's see, nah, that doesn't make sense. Could you say this? You could make an argument that this is what, no, I wouldn't. This is clearly your one. And what it's trying to do, and I tweeted about this, is it's going to form a long here. And this is basing. This is getting ready to lift off and give you a retest of that $5 zone. It won't be 5. It'll be like, in my opinion, like 492 to 488. I mean, it might be 5. I can't say for sure. You might get 5. It looks like probably like it wants to come up and then come down. And the reason it's going to do that, it'll give you, this is like your lower high. It'll give you your setup. I think that's what's forming right now. You can see this is forming here, and it wants to come up, and your golden pocket brings you right to 488. Now there's some confluence right around that zone. It's actually 492. The confluence comes from drawing my parallel channel this way. I don't know if I did that right. It's around there, 492. Now we look at BABA. BABA chart looks super bullish. I've been calling this BABA chart like to a T. I feel like I don't have I haven't been getting enough recognition for it, but like I don't think anybody's been calling this chart as good as I have. Like I had all these arrows like mapped out to a T. If you load up my tweets on BABA, I had it mapped out like I was like, and I'm like, it's up. It needs to make a new long setup. I pretty much had this mapped out to a T, and I love this setup on BABA, and I think it's coming in for 170. And if that's going to 170, NIO is going to at least 6, at least, maybe even 9 and 10. That's what I'm thinking. How do I close this replay? This is so good. And I'll explain why it's so good. If you guys don't understand why that's so good, This is resistance right here. This is now turned into support. And this is just such a beautiful looking chart. And I think it's going to bounce, and we're going to get that launch. And so when I look at BABA, and then I look at the Hang Seng Index, and it's like, okay, maybe it's forming a double bottom. Perhaps it all lines up. BABA moves up, Hang Seng moves up, NIO moves up, and it's happy ending, happy story. And that's what makes me remain very bullish. Is I still see the bull case here for BABA going way higher. And if BABA's going higher, I just don't see how Hang Seng won't get carried by that. I think it would. Then you look at the Dixie. You want more confluence? I mean, it's important to look at just more than just one stock so you can like figure it out and get all the puzzle pieces added together. But here's the Dixie. It's broken out of one of its trend lines, a breakout. After every breakout is a pullback. And after the first one, you're going to get a consolidation breakout. So it's going to take some time for it to break out of the second trend line. But it is looking like it wants to build into something higher. But in the meantime, I think it still has a very good chance of coming down into 105, 104, which is going to be a nice drop, like a 2.5, 2.7 drop on the Dixie. And that would be, and that'd be awesome for equities. And so when I look at all those different puzzle pieces, it keeps me hopeful for NIO. But what scares me is this is it. This is what scares me, is that we're below 2. But look what happened last time. I mean, it didn't take long. It didn't take long for us to reclaim. So I am hopeful. And if it's not, I just want to paint this picture out if it's not. Because it is healthy. If it gives you correction, it's a healthy correction. It just means that this play for NIO is going to take longer. It's going to take longer. Because if not, yeah, we could easily see something like this. Not something that I want to see at all, but it might not. Like worst case scenarios, we're looking till the summer for the next big rally. And of course, let's get that break above finally on that next attempt, and it goes crazy to the moon. And this is the only thing that that I say it's delicate, because it's broken through two primary kind of trend lines that I've been tracking here for a while. And that is exactly why I don't know. And so I want to paint another picture here. It not only I don't even know if I did this right. Did I do this right? Because something doesn't look right. Apologies. Let me just quickly fix this parallel channel so I can make my last point. Where is it? Jeez. Right there. Oh my God. Yeah. Okay, so like that. And you can see, in order for me to remain, for us to like believe this is going to go higher, we need to see that break through two pieces of resistance. The dynamic resistance needs to break here. This support that was here, it's going to come in for retesting. It needs to break back above that. If it can do both of that, we're talking squeeze. We're talking big time squeeze on the menu. So we'll know by like Monday or Tuesday, early in the week. We're going to be watching this like a hawk. So you're going to have to be following me on Twitter, and I'll be actually trying to update you guys on it. When I look at a velocity standpoint of view from the Hang Seng Index, I mean, it did make a higher high. It's really hard to kind of read the chart just from just the velocity. If I were looking at the 4 hours, see, I look at the 4 hours, and it's tough. It's tough to get really bullish when it's making lower lows. And what that means is even if you get a lift, unless it makes a higher high, likely the bigger move that will follow that might be a lower low. But I'm hopeful. I'm super hopeful. I'm keeping all hopes open here. But and part of that is because Baba. Baba is my hope here. And from a velocity standpoint of view, it doesn't look great either for Baba. But I'm just like velocity. I mean, sorry. Yeah, the indicator and velocity is not what you should be looking at when you're looking at a chart. It's meant to give you confluence. It's not meant to actually like be a primary tool to do analysis at all. So I tend not to look at it unless I'm really looking for something specific. And when I look at the hourly, it looks actually quite good. It looks like it wants to build up into something bigger. Actually, it looks a lot more healthier. But what we could see is it could just dance a little bit longer in here and then explode. And I'll get to my last point here, which is on NIO. Because if that's the top, if we just topped on the Hang Seng, and that's a question you got to ask yourself. Everybody should ask that question. It's not fair. It honestly is not fair. Like, look at this. It's ridiculous. Let's see. I mean, Baidu's probably the same chart too, right? So Baidu completely diverged. Oh my lord. Like something's so off with this cycle because Baidu and Baba and the Hang Seng and NIO all were in sync, like perfectly in sync, like boom, everything in sync. Baidu went off the rails, and so did NIO. So let's see. Let's see, guys. But we're watching this going into next week. I think it's very difficult. I think it's in a very, very delicate spot. $492. That's like if we get above that, like you could just, it might be lights out, man. This thing could just squeeze. I'd like it to do that, but what I think is more likely to happen is we're gonna get this playing out, and that's just the way they do these things. Something like this. And then you get that rocket. That's what I think might happen. Let's see, guys. That's what I think. I could be wrong. This thing's super hard to realize. I'm thrown off honestly because the Hang Seng Index is just in that super delicate spot, guys. And I don't want to see that because if it's gonna do this and eventually work its way down here, well, NIO's heading back to 410, 411, which might not be, actually, when you look at the grand scheme of things, it might not be too bad. Because if it does come down here, let's just say like it broke down a little bit lower here, but then it held and gave you a large bounce. You would have your second trend line right there. And it would do this, like that's like an alternate path. And then boom, right? Maybe something like that. It would reclaim 1. That'd be 2. The reason I say 410, 411 is it's a major pivot point there. You can just see it right there too. Right here. It's technically, I think it's like 409. Doesn't really matter. It's within a couple cents. And that's what I'm worried about. I don't want it to see it lose that. It just gets more scarier. Nobody wants to be scared. People want to feel confident. But I think like with these big plays, when you're looking for a big move, things can get a little shaky. Things can get a little scary. And this is the where I'm. We have to watch this. So long as we're above number 1, I'm very bullish on NIO and Baba as well. But you got to entertain both ideas. I'm repeating myself. I think it's because it's just late at night. So I'm gonna wrap the video up here. But if you have questions, just drop it in the comment section below. Let me know what you guys think. I haven't been feeling my greatest, so this is probably not my most put together video where I'm making all my thoughts make sense. But I hope I shared with you guys where I see things going into next week. And I'll be sure to try and be more active on Twitter, going into Monday as I'm feeling a lot better, actually. And I'll be trying to update you because I know the Hang Seng's in a very delicate spot. So I'll be watching that and I'll be wanting to post and let you know if I see any changes or updates. That's it. That's all. I hope you guys enjoyed my weekly video and analysis. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Cheers and take care.